Good morning and welcome all to the online class of Salesforce Management. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Wanjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. So today we are going to learn, Chapter 16, Evaluating a Salesperson's Performance from Unit 6. Okay. So most of the students have obtained their offer letters, and most of the students' jobs or area of work are also in marketing. Okay, so you can understand how you will be evaluated. So generally, the evaluation period frequency will be once in a year. Okay, but some companies may evaluate more than once in a year as well. But generally in India, the evaluation will be once in a year, or in HR you call it performance appraisal. Okay, so from that point of view, it will be interesting as well as important for you all to know how you will be evaluated. Okay, once you join the company. So this is the last chapter, in the syllabus. Okay, so I would like to continue with evaluating a salesperson's performance. Okay. Otherwise, before I begin this, so I worked, as I said, for a couple of pharmaceutical companies. Okay. So basically, if you look at, I was a medical detailer. The type of selling was a missionary sales, where I used to promote the medicines or products of the company to the customers. My customers were doctors or medical practitioners. Okay, and the doctor used to prescribe medicine to his or her patients. The patient used to go to the nearby pharmacy to purchase the medicines. Sale used to happen there. Okay, so when it comes to evaluation or performance appraisal, so generally I was taken in as a management trainee. Okay, then the probation period was 1 year. Okay, so after 1 year, I was confirmed down to the job and a designation was given. Okay, like marketing executive or professional service representative. Okay, but honestly, I never come across any evaluation. Okay, I was not called in for any kind of interview. Okay, or for negotiation. Okay, so it looks like the whole evaluation or performance appraisal are based on the achievement of the sales targets in the previous period. Okay, period when I say 1 year at least. So every month, I used to get a sales quota. Okay, sales quota is nothing but sales target. So which was self-calculative. Okay, like say for example, I have to set the sales quota or sales target for June 2020. Okay, then I have to consider the sales of June 2019. Okay, so if I have to set sales target for June 2020, I have to consider the sales of June 2019, same month previous year. Data was made available. Okay, then add the industry growth rate. Let us say the pharmaceutical industry is growing at 20%. Okay, and the sales in the month of June in 2019 was 1 lakh. So I had to add 20% to 1 lakh rupees. So 1 lakh plus 20%, which is 20,000. So 1 lakh plus 20,000 is equal to 1 lakh 20,000. Okay, will be my sales targets for June 2020. Okay, so based on achievement of this sales targets, and my target I used to achieve by way of taking orders from the distributors or wholesalers. Okay, so in Tumkuru I had 2 distributors, and in Goa where I worked for another company I had 1 distributor. So my target I used to achieve by way of taking orders from the wholesalers or distributors. And each month, definitely the company used to keep a record of each sales rep from each territory. So what are the sales target against the actual sales made by the sales representative. So based on that, percentage of this achievement of sales quota or percentage achievement of the sales target, the evaluation was done. Okay, But when we go through this chapter, okay, there are a variety of okay bases which are considered for evaluating a salesperson. Okay, so now you are sales rep. You are going to be sales reps of new generation. So definitely you may come across these wide variety of bases for evaluating okay your job okay in the company. So you can pay attention. So I'll first begin with procedure for evaluating salespeople. I'll begin with procedure okay for evaluating salespeople. The step one includes the company should initially establish some basic policies for evaluating salespeople. So, what are the broader guidelines? How the company is going to evaluate? Okay, so who will evaluate? So, these broader ideas have to be incorporated okay into the policy first. Say, for example, okay, the contents of the basic policies may include who will evaluate the sales representatives. So definitely the immediate reporting authority. So in our country, it will be area sales manager for sales reps working in the field and a branch manager. Okay, so if the company has a branch like bank, insurance, stock trading, so these companies will have their branches. So definitely the branch manager. So must be there in the evaluation panel. Other than that, the immediate authority to the area sales manager will be regional sales manager will also be there in the evaluation panel. Okay, so like that. So who should evaluate the sales reps? First part. Second, some companies use a 360-degree evaluative feedback. Okay, so 360-degree feedback is a evaluative feedback given about the sales rep by the peers of the sales representative, means other sales reps who are working in different territories. Then evaluative feedback given by the subordinates, if any, the sales rep has. Say for example, if you join okay organize the retail stores, so definitely you will be taken into the position of department manager, and within a department you will have sales associates or customer service associates working under you. Okay, so feedback can be taken from the subordinates. Evaluative feedback will be taken from the superiors to whom you will be reporting. Okay, as well as okay evaluative feedback will be taken from the customers or clients. So that is the 360-degree feedback. Okay, so that can be taken into consideration. There is one more way of evaluating the sales reps, which is called as management by objectives. Okay, generally found in industrial marketing or B2B marketing. Some students are being selected for a company, so where they will be involved in B2B marketing or industrial marketing. So you may come across this policy. So basically, management by objective is where the sales representative and his immediate reporting authority, okay, let us say if there is a area sales manager, will sit together, okay, and set the specific goals for the upcoming period. So upcoming period can be, let us say, for example, 1 year. Okay, so from April 2020 to March 2021. So for the upcoming period, sales representative as well as his immediate reporting authority, area sales manager will sit together, okay, and considering the territory potential, considering the historical data, means past sales made in the territory by the same rep, okay, as well as depending on various other factors, okay, the sales rep and his immediate reporting authority, let us say area sales manager, will together okay arrive at some common specific goals or sales targets in simple terms, and both these sales rep as well as the immediate reporting authority sales manager will agree upon the common standard. Okay, so this becomes okay the basis of evaluation of the sales representative. So there will be no conflicts as okay the sales representative is also involved in setting the target for the upcoming period. So then all the efforts are initiated in order to achieve that goal. So that is the management by objectives. So in this order, so a company has to establish the basic policies first. Who will evaluate the sales reps, how the company is going to evaluate, and some broader guidelines or methods the company is going to use. Now, once the broader basic policies are established, the company will definitely require a basis of evaluation. some factors based on which the company will evaluate its sales reps performance. So select evaluation basis. So there are two types of factors. One is output factors. Okay, so what the sales rep is going to generate. Okay, and the input factors. Okay, so what efforts or activities the sales rep is going to put in to achieve these outputs. Okay, so first let us go ahead. So we are into second step now. Select evaluation basis. So first we are going to consider output factors used as evaluation basis. So the first one is okay, sales volume. Definitely you all in your evaluation the sales volume will be considered. Okay, so when we say sales volume, it can be in dollars, okay, or in India it can be in rupees. So your sales achieved by you in terms of rupee amount or in terms of units, number of units sold by you. Okay, so this can be a basis for your evaluation. By products and customers. Okay, the basis of evaluation can also be based on products. Generally, it is seen that all products do not sell equally, and sales reps generally focus on those products that are easily selling in the market. So that is the reason why definitely many companies evaluate the performance of sales reps by products as well. So if let us say for example there are 10 products, okay, so what is the sales volume of each product done by the sales rep or by the customers. Okay, say for example in case of industrial marketing, so the evaluation of the basis of evaluation can be also done by the customers. Okay, so total how many number of customers are there in the sales rep list, how many customers are being contacted by the sales reps. Okay, so among them how many are placing orders with the sales rep. Okay, so all this, so based on by products and by customers. Okay, so when I say customers here, I'm talking about market segments. When I say customers, I repeat, I'm talking about customer segments or target markets. Okay, say for example for Dell. Okay, so one of the market segment can be okay Fortune 500 companies. Second target market can be Fortune 501 to Fortune 2000 companies. Okay, then third segment can be central government organizations, governments as well as government organizations. Fourth target market can be corporates, private companies. So this way, the sales volume achieved by product and by target customers or by customer segments can be considered as a evaluation basis. Okay, then the sales volume done from different channels, like the sales volume achieved by way of mails or emails, sales volume achieved by way of telemarketing, and the sales volumes achieved by way of personal selling. Okay, these can be the basis of evaluating a sales reps on sales volume achieved. So sales volume by rupee amount, by units, by products, by market segments, or by channel of selling, or by channel of communication. Then second basis is the sales volume as a percentage of quota. Okay, so if there are any sales quota set or sales targets are set, so what is the actual sales volume achieved by the sales rep, and that becomes what percentage of the sales target or sales quota. Say for example, if the sales quota was a 10 lakh rupees per month, or sales target was a 10 lakh rupees per month, and the sales representative has achieved 9 lakh rupees sales. So sales volume as a percentage of sales quota in my oral example is 90%. And the sales volume as a percentage of market potential. Okay. Say for example, the overall potential of the market is, okay, overall potential of the market is 1 crore rupees. Means all companies, all sales reps put together in a given territory can sell up to 1 crore rupee worth goods. Okay, so in my previous example, what I said, the sales rep has achieved a sales volume of 9 lakh rupees. Okay, so if the total market potential is 1 crore rupees or 100 lakh rupees, and our sales rep has achieved a sales volume of 9 lakh rupees, it means sales volume as a percentage of market potential is 9%. Sales volume as a percentage of market potential is 9% in my oral example. So this way, sales volume as a percentage of quota or sales volume as a percentage of market potential can also be considered as evaluation basis. But remember, a company considers multiple bases or multiple factors for evaluating a sales rep. Then gross margin by product line, by customer group, and order size. Okay. Okay. So in a retail sector, basically, okay, the store managers are evaluated based on the gross margin generated by the store, okay, to the overall company goals. Okay. So because frequently when the demand is low, the store manager may decide to sell the merchandise on sales promotion offers. So which reduces the gross margin. That is the reason why in such circumstances, companies consider gross margin as a basis of evaluating sales reps or store managers. So this gross margin can again be evaluated by product line, gross margin by customer segment, and gross margin by order size. Then, so one of the evaluation basis also can be orders. So when we say orders, okay, the evaluation basis can be done on the basis of number of orders, okay, received by the sales reps, average size of the order, okay, so that can be found out, batting average, okay, orders divided by calls, means total number of orders are received divided by number of sales calls made by the sales rep, the number of cancelled orders. So orders in this way can also be set as a basis of evaluation for sales representatives. Then accounts. Accounts here in marketing, please remember always accounts means customers. Accounts means customers. So percentage of accounts sold. I say for example in a list of customers, a sales rep has a 100 customers. Okay, and he is able to sell to 60 customers in the list. It means percentage of accounts sold are 60%. Number of new accounts. Okay, so other than the 100 customers in the list, how many new customers or new accounts the sales rep acquired during the given period? And during the same period, how many customers he or she lost? The number of customers or accounts with overdue payment. So within the given period, how many customers, let's say wholesalers, for example, okay, are still have not made their payment. So in this way, accounts or customers also can be considered as a basis of evaluation in the case of sales representatives. Okay, so before I move on to input factors used as a evaluation basis, I'm going to pause here, break here, and those students who have any questions, okay, kindly ask your questions, clarify your doubts, and then I will continue. And those students who do not have any questions, kindly remember to mute your audio immediately. Thank you. Okay, any questions? Gauresha, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sushmita, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I hope the concepts are clear, okay, and interesting as well, because you will be evaluated, okay, those who join the organizations, you will be evaluated on many or some of these factors. Okay, so I'm going to mute you all again and continue with the class. Okay, so these are the output factors, what the sales rep is going to produce or what the sales rep is going to generate. Okay, sales volume. Sales volume is the percentage of quota and market potential, gross margin, orders, and accounts. Now I'll move on to the second set of factors, so which are considered as a basis of evaluation. So please remember, we are learning, okay, the second step in evaluating salespeople. Second step is about selecting evaluation basis. So what we first considered are the output factors. Now we are going to consider the input factors used as evaluation basis. So to generate the desired sales volume, okay, sales rep makes sales calls each day. Sales call means a sales representative going into the field and meeting the customers, okay, is called a sales call. So calls per day, which is called as call rate. Okay, so in pharmaceutical industry in India, the average call rate per day on doctors is around 10. I say approximately around 10, with minimum, okay, average 5 pharmacies. The sales rep also has to make calls on pharmacies as well. So average, I'm saying on an average, the calls per day or call rate of sales rep in the pharmaceutical industry in India is 10 doctors per day plus, okay, on an average 5 pharmacies per day. Okay, so that is what we call it call rate. So, but the actual calls made by the sales rep may vary. It may be more or less. Then days worked, number of days the sales rep has worked in the field in a given period, generally 1 year. Sales time versus non-selling time. Okay, so there will be in many cases like industrial marketing. Okay, so and even in retailing for that matter. Okay, there will be a lot of non-selling activities. Say for example, in case of retail store. Okay, so keeping the shelf neat and tidy, or rearranging the merchandise on the shelf, then merchandise display. Okay, so it will take then meeting with the subordinates. Okay, so you, as a department manager, you will be spending time on such non-selling activities or taking feedback from the customer, etc. So how much of time the sales rep has spent on selling activities, meeting the customer, promoting the product, and taking the order, as well as on other non-selling activities. So it can be proportionately identified. Direct selling expense. Okay, so the expenses that are incurred by a sales representative while making sales calls, like travel expenses, for example, lodging expenses, okay, and other expenses. So the direct selling expenses, okay, in total, the total expenses incurred by the sales rep can be considered as a basis of evaluation as a percentage of sales volume. Total expenses incurred by a sales rep as a percentage of sales volume. I remember one of okay, my friend who used to work for a projection equipment company. This company was a rep firm, REP, rep, FIRM firm. Rep firm means these companies do not have their own products. They do not manufacture any product, but they only appoint, okay, sales representatives. Okay, they pay salary and expenses of the sales representatives, and the company will be, okay, selling, okay, products of some other company. Okay, the company will be selling products of some other company. Okay, and the sales reps are trained accordingly on the same products. So in that company, okay, so my friend used to explain, so direct selling expense as a percentage of sales volume was one of the basis of evaluating the sales representatives during the annual sales meeting. So they used to display a PowerPoint slide, okay, on the screen, okay, where on one side the value of the total orders taken by the sales representative in the given period, that is the 1 year, in rupees, and on the right hand side total expenses incurred, okay, or direct selling expenses incurred by the same rep during the same period. Okay, and they could compare. Okay, so one could compare whether, okay, so what are the difference between the value of the sales order and the direct selling expenses, or what are the percentage of the direct selling expense of the sales volume. So it is very easily visible. That was into B2B marketing, industrial marketing. Then direct selling expense as a percentage of quota. Quota is nothing but the sales targets. Say if a rep has a sales target of 10 lakh rupee per month, for example, 10 lakh rupee per month, and he has incurred an expenditure or direct selling expenses of 1 lakh rupees, it means direct selling expenses of that sales rep as a percentage of quota is 10%. Then other non-selling activities include advertising, displays, setup. I hope you can understand this is simple. Okay. So non-selling activities performed. Okay, definitely they will be in terms of numbers. They'll be in terms of numbers. So maybe for example, in case of a in case of a beverage, soft drinks companies, in case of soft drink companies as well as alcoholic beverages companies, the sales rep who work. Okay, so at the bar and restaurants, okay, or at the bakeries. Okay, so these soft drink sales reps as well as alcoholic beverage sales reps will involve in these type of non-selling activities. The advertising, display, setup, emails or letters written to prospects. Okay, this will happen in case of industrial customers. Telephone calls made to prospects. Number of meetings held with dealers and or distributors. Okay, so for example, in case of cement industry, okay, so I remember one of my friend used to work for ACC Cement. So he was in Belagavi. So I remember, okay, him saying, so he used to arrange for cement dealers meeting. Okay, so during the meeting, okay, he sales managers used to report, okay, and they used to make presentations about the company, about the products, and about the market potential trends. Okay, then usually it used to be accompanied by lunch or dinner. Okay, and the upcoming, okay, demand in the market. So these kind of number of meetings held with the dealers or distributors. Collections here are generally the goods are sold on credit basis from manufacturer to wholesalers. So if the sales rep is taking orders from the wholesalers, he has to collect the payment from the wholesalers, okay, within the credit period. Say in pharmaceutical industry, when I was working, the credit period was 21 days. So if I need to check out if the wholesaler has made the payment or not. If he has not made the payment, I used to go to the wholesaler and request him to make the payment. I used to collect the check many times and send it by way of post to my regional manager. Number of customer complaints received. Okay, so definitely number of customer complaints received and attended is also a non-selling activity. So these non-selling activities also can be considered as a basis of evaluation of sales representatives. Okay, so now we learned about step 2, select basis of evaluation. So we considered output factors as well as input factors. Output factor is nothing but what the sales rep is going to generate. Input factor is nothing but what the sales rep, okay, what efforts he puts in or what expenses he incurs to generate the desired output. Okay, so now we'll move on to the third step, set performance standards. So what we considered here is only basis. Like for example, let's say sales volume. Okay, it is only considered as a basis. Say for example, in dollars, in a rupee amount, in rupees or in units. So here we are only considering sales volume in rupees or in units as a basis. Okay, but standard is, okay, setting some benchmark against which the sales rep will be evaluated. So in a very common term, we call them as sales targets. A sales target is a standard. Okay, a sales target is a performance standard against which your evaluation will be made. Okay. Okay, then we'll continue with the second step, select evaluation basis. So far we have considered output factors used as a evaluation basis. And this set of input factors, what we considered are quantitative because we can quantify them. Number of sales calls per day, as I said. Okay, 10 calls per day on doctors, 5 calls per day on pharmacists. Okay, days work, number of days work. Let's say, for example, out of 365, let us say 300 days of work for example. Okay, so these can be quantified. These bases can be quantified. So there are other input factors which are qualitative in nature. So we're going to consider them next. Still we're in second step. Okay, so we are talking about select evaluation basis. So selecting evaluation basis, a company can select the qualitative input factors which cannot be quantified, like personal efforts, for example. One cannot quantify it. Okay, so qualitative input factors used as evaluation basis. So the first one is the personal efforts of the sales reps. Many times sales reps, or even for that matter, many employees are self-motivated and they put a lot of personal efforts which goes unnoticed by the management. Okay, and these sales reps or these employees, okay, many times get demotivated and they tend to put same amount of effort or lesser amount of effort. Okay, so that is the reason why. So one of the important qualitative input factor which can be considered as the evaluation basis is personal efforts of the sales reps. Okay, so what are the factors that come under personal efforts of sales reps? Management of their time. Okay, so how a sales rep or an employee manages his or her time productively. Then planning and preparation for the sales calls. How an employee prepares for his work, prepare for his teacher, how a teacher prepares for his classes systematically, or how a sales rep prepare for his sales calls. Okay, so I remember when I was working for pharmaceutical companies, so there is something called a daily monthly planner. So I used to prepare the 1 month's plan well in advance. Okay, in which geographical areas I am going to go, which class of customers I am going to meet on which day. So 1 month whole planning was done in advance. Other apart from that, okay, and accordingly I used to receive the free samples and gifts from my area sales manager. And other than that, there was something like daily planner. So I used to refer the monthly planner, okay, and I could find out tomorrow where I will be visiting and which customers. Accordingly, so I used to write in a daily planner the number of the names of doctors whom I am going to meet, which products I am going to promote, which gifts or free samples I am going to distribute to each doctor, and as well as which pharmacies I am going to meet. So that was included in the daily planner. So there are the effort required definitely. Okay, so planning and preparation for calls. So the more a sales rep plans and prepares for calls, the effectiveness will be more. Quality of sales presentations. So when a sales rep talks to the customers, maybe orally or with a PowerPoint presentation. So what is the quality of the sales presentation? So it is quality is qualitative in nature. You cannot quantify it. Okay. Then ability to handle objections and close sales. Ability to handle objections and to close sales. So again, so when a sales rep is making a sales presentation or promoting the product to a customer, and if a customer has any queries, doubts, okay, they are called as objections. And how effectively, okay, or how satisfactorily the sales rep handles the objections or clarifies the doubts of the customer, and how effectively he closes the sales. Closing the sale means, okay, taking the order from the customer. Okay, then so you can ask one question here, how the sales manager will come to know about these personal efforts. So as I said, okay, so for field sales representatives are supervised on the field, okay, by their immediate reporting authority. In India, they are called as area sales managers. Designation may vary across industry, but generally they are called as area sales managers. Okay, so for example, in my case, my area sales manager used to work, okay, once in a fortnight along with me for 2 days in my territory. Means when I was in Tumkuru, he used to come from Bengaluru, okay, to Tumkuru, and he used to work with me for 2 entire days, okay, and he used to make some report and he used to go back again. Okay, one more time in a month he used to come. So once in a fortnight, once in a 15 days, he used to work with me for 2 days. So while he was working with me, he could see how I could manage my time. Okay, so efficiently managing the time enables the sales rep to finish all the sales calls that are planned for the day. That is quite important. Okay, Then how a sales rep plans and prepares for the sales calls. As area sales manager can actually see how his subordinate is planning and preparing for the sales calls, as well as when the sales rep is making a presentation to the customer, or when the sales rep is meeting the customer and promoting the product, area sales manager will be present there on the spot. So definitely he can see, he can assess the quality of the sales presentations, as well as the sales manager can assess the ability to handle objections and ability of the sales rep to close the sales. So in this case, company may use a Likert scale. Company may use a Likert scale, 5-point Likert scale. Most of you might have used in your survey questionnaires. So that way, personal efforts can be evaluated. Okay. So about less than 2 minutes time is remaining now. So I'm going to stop here. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can ask again at this stage. I'm going to unmute you all. Okay, so any questions from student side? Any questions from student end? Any doubts regarding any of the output factors, quantitative input factors, or the first qualitative input factor, personal efforts of the sales reps? So you're sure you don't have any questions? So that's fine. Okay, so it's looked like you don't have any questions and the concept is easy to understand. So I thank you all for your active participation in this online class. Okay, so remember this is the last chapter in the syllabus. So after which I'm going to discuss 2 case studies online. Okay, so today is Thursday, so our next class will be on Saturday. So Saturday again classes will be back to back. I will engage the Salesforce management class immediately after supply chain class. Okay, so till then take care and thank you for your cooperation and coordination. I'm going to stop the recording and end the meeting. If you have any doubts, please feel free to call me. Thank you one and all.